Pro-Kurdish DEM Party co-chair Tuncer Bakwahan urges peace process revival, citing Öcalan's optimism and Turkey's domestic and cross-border turbulence. A woman jailed despite terminal illness has finally been released after years of pressure and protest in Turkey. Across the Kurdish regions and diaspora, journalists, leaders and citizens mark 127 years since the first Kurdish newspaper was published in exile in 1898. This week marks the 110th anniversary of the Armenian genocide, marked by attention on the work of assassinated journalist Hrant Dink. Learn more with Media News. Peace is not a choice, it's a necessity, declared DEM Party co-chair Tuncer Bakwahan, urging a renewed peace initiative during a parliamentary group meeting in Ankara. Stressing that conditions are ripe for dialogue, Bakwahan revealed that Abdullah Öcalan had expressed hope for developments to accelerate in the coming weeks. Amid regional instability and internal turmoil, Bakwahan argued that Turkey cannot endure without achieving internal peace and democratic reform. He warned that unresolved conflict only deepens chaos and pain. The DEM Party co-chair also highlighted the hospitalization of MP Süreyya Önder, an iconic figure in past peace talks, as a moment of rare national unity, with citizens, parties and civil groups showing solidarity. Öcalan, Bakwahan said, remains a key figure in any solution, working with morale and intensity to contribute. He called for legal reforms, especially concerning political prisoners, and urged all parties to normalize politics and build a peaceful century, one that remembers the past but looks forward. A woman battling a life-threatening brain condition has been released from prison on Monday after years of appeals by human rights organizations. Özge Özbek, held in Sincan Women's Closed Prison, was freed after the Forensic Medicine Institute postponed her sentence for 6 months. She was arrested shortly after undergoing brain surgery in 2020. Despite repeated medical reports warning she was unfit for detention, authorities kept her imprisoned. Özbek experienced worsening symptoms, including seizures and loss of balance, while rights groups continued to protest her detention in Istanbul, Ankara and Izmir. Her release follows nationwide pressure campaigns and sustained advocacy by lawyers and the People's Equality and Democracy Party. Speaking outside the prison in Ankara, Özbek expressed bittersweet joy, saying,
Umarım sadece 1, 2, 3 tutsakla değil, genel hasta tutsaklar özgürlüğüne kavuşur. Tüm siyasi tutsaklar özgürlüklerine kavuşur. Ben sevincimi şu an buruk yaşıyorum. Çünkü eksik çıktım. İçeride olan tüm arkadaşlarımla en kısa zamanda özgürlüğüne kavuşmalarını istiyorum.
Upon her return to Diyarbakır, she repeated her hope that her release would mark a turning point.
Benim gibi olan binlerce arkadaşım var. Binlerce siyasi tutsak haksız yere içeride. Umarım bunu onlar için bir başlangıç olur. Barış ve kardeşliğin bu kadar dillendirildiği dönemde umarım kapıyı açan da biz olmuş oluruz. Emeği geçen, destek olan herkese teşekkür ediyorum.
Human rights groups say Özbek's case reflects systemic neglect of ill prisoners in Turkey, and they continue to call for the immediate release of others, including 73-year-old Mehmet Emin Çam. Across the Kurdish regions and diaspora, journalists, leaders and citizens marked 127 years since the first Kurdish newspaper was published in exile in 1898. Kurdish Journalism Day now stands as both a tribute and call to action. In Belgium, over 70 Kurdish media workers gathered to launch a new pan-European organisation, the Collective of Kurdish Press Workers in Europe. Based in Brussels, the group pledges to protect journalistic freedom, confront disinformation, and resist political censorship, especially as Kurdish journalists remain targets from Turkey to Iran. This initiative comes as journalists commemorate a legacy of resistance journalism. The Kurdish press, covering ethnic homelands divided across Turkish, Syrian, Iraqi and Iranian borders, and across the globally spread diaspora, has never been silent, even under threat of imprisonment or death. "This is more than a celebration," said one founding member. "It's a vow to defend truth and identity." As Kurdish media navigates digital threats and state repression, the message of the 22nd of April remains clear: truth will not be silenced. This week marks the 110th anniversary of the Armenian genocide, commemorated globally by Armenians and human rights advocates alike. The occasion has brought renewed attention to the late Hrant Dink's 1996 essay entitled The 23rd of April, a reflection on identity, memory and reconciliation. Dink was a prominent Armenian Turkish journalist, editor and human rights advocate, assassinated in 2007 in Istanbul. Dink, founder of the Istanbul-based newspaper Agos, wrote the piece to highlight the emotional conflict experienced by modern-day Armenian citizens of Turkey. The 23rd of April is a national holiday in Turkey for Children's Day. Dink said, "If the 23rd is to belong to all children, then I say let it also, in some form, belong to the children of Armenia." He spotlights the juxtaposition of this joyous date against the sorrow of the 24th, saying the 24th of April is a very dark day in the history of the Armenian nation, which has been scattered across the world. "I don't know how anyone could comprehend this," he added. "Imagine being both Armenian and from Turkey, experiencing the full enthusiasm of the 23rd of April, and then being a part of the sorrow that follows the next day. How many people in this world live through such a dilemma?" he asked. On the 24th of April 1915, hundreds of Armenian intellectuals, artists and politicians were arrested in Istanbul. Most were never seen again. The date marks the beginning of mass deportations and killings that would claim an estimated 1.5 million Armenian lives across the Ottoman Empire. While the Turkish government continues to reject the term genocide, this week's commemoration remains central to the collective memory of the Armenian people worldwide, and Dink's essay has come to symbolize a call for mutual understanding. As commemorations take place globally, Dink's message endures. A future free of denial depends on an honest reckoning with the past.